Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel. And one of the questions I've got about Windows is how Microsoft tests Windows and knows what are the problems that Windows has over time. And what's the main way that they actually know when a problem arises? Well, let's call it two phases. There's a pre-launch phase where there's a test going on internally. So they will have a certain number of machines running Windows and, doing different things within Windows and checking out basically as if, they'd be standard users. And they look at, of course, all the information they can have about how it behaves. Does it crash? Is something, not right? When you plug hardware, in all of that. So that's the internal phase. That's where, for example, Windows 12 probably is right now. It's just code being tested, putting together, and making machines. The problem with internal testing is its limits. It has limits because Microsoft doesn't have a million different configurations within their own testing system. They have a lot of virtual machines and a lot of machines that are pretty much the same. So there's a limit to what they're being tested on. Then there's a phase of testing for the manufacturer. So Windows will be sent out. Manufacturers will test them on their own systems. So that's what we call the OEM phase. Before a release of Windows, manufacturers are installing it and testing it in their own machines and giving reports back about how it works, if there's error messages, and so on. So all of that together. But that phase, those two phases of pre-launch, although they do test well, they don't test everything. And they don't test the whole ecosystem, which is really what you and me are doing. And so sometimes we say that, users are guinea pigs. And we kind of are in a certain way, because that testing phase is the big launch. And that's why they go slowly first. Because when they start launching a new version of Windows, they're going to start testing it and test the waters. And of course, by not releasing it to everybody, if a major problem arises, that will be, something they're going to be able to fix before everybody gets it. Now, one of the things that they do get is telemetry. Telemetry is what we have in the diagnostics and feedback that we talk about all the time, where a lot of people are kind of weary about how much data is being sent out. And all of that here is what Microsoft receives. And if there's a crash, if there's, errors, sometimes it's internal errors that you might not even see as a user, but Microsoft will see it with the telemetry. They can then check out, okay, in specific machines, it seems to be doing this or that. What can we do? Diagnostics is, of course, has a lot of limits, and it's not necessarily, and I think Microsoft actually bases its findings a little too much on it, because it doesn't see everything, and it doesn't work for everything. And there's a lot of missing information about, what happened and how such or such a problem arises. Of course, the other one is the feedback hub and the different blogs that Microsoft operates to just, tell Microsoft that something's wrong. So you can actually post a feedback message here and say, okay, here's the deal. I got this problem, that problem, whatever. And the more details you give, the better it is. And of course, there's also the problems that are reported in the different blog posts everywhere on the Microsoft websites, where sometimes you got answers or not. So all of that together gives a portrait of what's wrong. Is it a general big problem that everybody's having? Is it just, a specific problem with the specific hardware? All of that is mixed in together and all that information. And that just gives you an idea of the huge amount of data that they receive. Especially, a lot of the feedback is background noise that's useless. And what I mean by that is, I often say it, 99% of Windows problems aren't Windows related. And a lot of the reporting of error messages has to do with the user itself or faulty hardware. Maybe your hardware has a problem and it's creating blue screens, which is not something Microsoft can fix. So you got to remove the background noise and keep the focus on what is a real problem that Microsoft needs to fix. So it's a very complex situation, and the fact that there are billions of configurations out there doesn't make that task easy. But when you look at how stable Windows 11 and Windows 10 are, it tells you that they got something going. But unfortunately, there's always of these little times when something arises, and then you notice that, well, we told you in the past, the insiders told you, you just didn't look at it or listen to us. And that, I think, is where they need to focus a little more to make sure that things are even better in the future ahead. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.